Welcome to Fieldsports Britain. Coming up, just as Burns Night means bagpipes, Roe Rut means butterlow, but is Roy being premature? Rifles on parade, it's the Queen Prize at Bisley. First, Tim is back with rucksack and rifle, and this time he's after mouflon on the craggy Croatian coast.
It's meant to be warm over here. It's freezing. We're stalking some trophy mouflon, and there's 3 quite large rams. That's very, very elusive, and it's not very easy stalking today. And I think they've actually moved further down the valley, so I think we can move on and see what we can find. The important thing is actually, if we do get near to some mouflon, is they can hear our voice a long, long, long way away. So whilst we can be quite noisy underfoot, we must keep our voices down all the time because they pick it up very, very quickly. This is where the old bear's been pulling out a bee's nest. You see how they claws just pulled it out that way. Amazing. It's quite deep as well. Must be big bears around here. It's amazing, this place. We have access to quite a few hunting grounds all along the coast, and Artemis has been taking us along the road, and we just park up as you see here now, and we're just glancing. It seems a bit strange because we've got cars going behind us, people beeping their horns. There's not a thing you see in the UK, but they're very open and very, very happy for people to hunt. And what is fascinating is how quite a large mouflon can actually just disappear into cover. And you know, we were spotting a really nice trophy. Now it's gone and we're moving on.
It's too young, he's only 3 years old, and his antlers are not growing as wide as they should. They're going into his jaw. So that's one of the elements we're looking when we're trying to call the animal out.
Yeah.
So this animal is to be called out and shot at.
Yes.
But we're trying to get you a better trophy. So that is our plan.
Yeah.
We've seen the animal, we've taken a few pictures, and now we're trying to find a better one.
Okay.
A better one for you.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
There's an outcrop going away from us, about 650 metres away. And halfway up there we got about 4 or 5 mouflon, and there's 2, I think there's 2 rams. And one of the rams has got a fairly large head on it, so we've been sitting here for about half an hour, just glassing, looking through scopes and spotting scopes to see what we can look. And I think what we can do now is that the animals are now starting to feed, so they're coming down off the mountain into the gully there. So what we can do is we can work our way up around the other side of the gully there, and hopefully we can get a shot across that mountain there. So it's probably about a 250 metre shot. Probably got about an hour's worth of light left, so we need to tab on a wee bit and hopefully find ourselves a mouflon ram. Really exciting. We found ourselves a decent ram, 600 metres away. We stalked up to it within 300 metres. Spent about half an hour looking at it, and the last moment before I was about to take a shot, our guides advised that it was too good for a cull animal, so the decision was not to shoot it, which is fine. That's no problem. That's their decision. They're experienced hunters, that they have to manage the mouflon, and they felt very strongly between the 3 of them that actually it was too good to take out. So fine. Very disappointing, but that's hunting. So whilst it's been a long day, we were up since 4 o'clock this morning. be quite hard work. It's just such beautiful surroundings, you know, and you can't beat hunting like this. And it's not all about what you're shooting; it's actually the experience, the stalking. I just absolutely love this type of go, get your rucksack, get your rifle, and let's have a go. And that's what it's all about. And if you don't find an animal today, that's some hunting for you. That's what it's all about. Wow. Yes, we had a pinch, as Dean would say, a bit of pinch of luck there. We're walking through the bush, and then suddenly one of the Paulo suddenly saw a ram running down the bottom of the ravine. It's a very steep ravine. So we shot over the top here, over these rocks, jumping around. Okay, and we dropped down onto it and suddenly had to make a very, very quick shot here. Ram comes up over the other side of the ravine and comes across, and just had to jump down, put my rucksack on here, get loaded, get ready to go. Went along about 40 metres and I just take him straight through the shoulder, and looks like a good kill. But it's all about preparation. I made sure my rifle was all set properly, my scope, I knew exactly what to do, drop down onto it, but it happened so quickly. And if I'd forgotten to set my scope up properly or didn't have my kit properly, I would have probably missed that opportunity because he was running away. So it was last minute, but all adds to the excitement. We've been on mouflon for a good day yet, and we've seen so many animals, and we've got very close, and we've had to turn quite a few good ones away because it's not big enough. And suddenly, bang! Within 3 minutes, we're onto one and we shot one. So that's hunting for you. Still a bit shaky, but that is absolutely brilliant. Absolutely love that, and hopefully we've got ourselves a nice-looking ram. So brilliant. I hate these rocks. They're so sharp and so unforgiving. It's good here. Right where it needs to be. It still ran on, didn't it? Really beautiful. So Dean, how do we know how old this animal is?
This gap shows that
Yes.
this is a 1 year.
Yes.
This is second year.
Ah, okay, yes.
And this should be third
Third
year,
year.
so that means this mouflon is in his fourth year. But the easiest way to make a mistake is to grade trophy right on the field.
Yeah, yeah. The mouflon and to me also the chamois are the most beautiful animals I've had the privilege to shoot. You just look at them. I mean, this is in their summer coats, it's a lot lighter, but in the winter they're a lot darker, and they have a white, is it a white spot, a big white spot here. Yeah. So, but I think they're just beautiful, stunning animals, and to see them, the way they move across the mountains. And yesterday we had about 20-30 of them skittling across the mountains, and it's just beautiful to see. But there's also the noise of all the pebbles, all the rocks falling down the side of the mountain. So we're very, very pleased, and It's just nice to,
shot.
and a good shot.
That's my dad.
That's the most important thing.
Yeah.
We dispatched it quick as we could, so that's great. I aimed for the shoulder. I was trying to go for a safe shot, and it looks like I've actually gone just behind the shoulder blade there, but it's gone straight through and out the other side. So in some ways, probably the perfect shot. I thought perhaps I was a wee bit more forward. I was playing safe, but it's gone straight through. We're using on the 308 Hornady 150 grain Interbond, the new whitetail they've got coming out. But I went for an Interbond because I want something with a bit more penetration, a bit harder jacket for the mouflon and also for the boar later on. But yeah, I'm very pleased with the shot. Did the job perfectly well. Yeah, very, very pleased with it.
Thank you, Tim. Beautiful place. And thank you, Tomo, and the guys from Artemis Hunting, without whom David and I would never have met. Deep breath, pregnant pause, move on. Next up, it's the manimal himself. It's David with the Fieldsports Channel News Stump.
This is Fieldsports Channel News. Gloucestershire's police commissioner is deranged, according to hunt supporters. Martin Searle, the elected police commissioner for the Keene hunting county, said publicly that the RSPCA were the official prosecuting authority for cases against huntsmen. Hunt supporters had to tell him that the RSPCA is an animal rights organisation and has no formal legal powers or authority to prosecute cases. A video of a homemade quadcopter that's capable of shooting a pistol has been posted on YouTube. The video, believed to have originated in the USA, shows a handgun being fired while strapped to an airborne drone. The drone compensates for the recoil, adjusting its height and position after each shot. A former Master of Foxhounds from Yorkshire has had gender reassignment surgery. Graham Pascoe was diagnosed with gender dysmorphia in August 2014. The former master of the Badsworth and Bramham Moor is now called Sue Pascoe. Australians are fighting an attempt by the gun control lobby to reclassify lever-action shotguns. A Turkish-made shotgun, soon to be imported into Australia by the Neoa company, is, according to Antes, a high-capacity firearm that verges on being a pump-action shotgun. They want it banned. Thanks to Michael Hurtado for sending us the story. The Kansas frogging season is underway. The 2015 Kansas bullfrog hunting season, also referred to as frogging, began on the 1st of July and runs through to the 31st of October. During this time, anglers can attempt to catch the amphibians with hook, line, dip net, gig, bow and arrow or crossbow. The daily creel limit is 8 with a possession limit of 24, and froggers must have a valid fishing licence to take, catch or kill bullfrogs. Fried frog's legs are a delicacy across the Midwest. This film shows Tex Grebner frogging in Illinois. And finally, a hungry bear in Colorado broke into a pie shop and ate some pies. In fact, he helped himself to all of the pies. He ate more than 20, leaving out one flavour he didn't like: rhubarb. You are now up to date with Fieldsports Channel News. Stalking the stories, fishing for facts.
Thank you, David. Now let's see what you lot have been up to. It is Hello, Charlie.
Hello, Charlie. 10th of July for a wee walk. Got a few wee friends.
Hello Charlie, Davey here up Northumberland, out on the mooch with a catapult, managed to bag myself 2 rabbits. Nice one.
Hello Charlie, Mr. from Anaman here, out for an evening of the rabbits. One in the bag so far, wee bit small but still getting the job done. See you later.
That's it. Please send me your Hello Charlies via Facebook, YouTube, Dropbox or email charlie@fieldsportschannel.tv. Thank you for those. Please keep them coming. And if they were the Bash Street Kids next, we have Roy of the Rutters. Just as the roe get a sudden rush of blood to the head at this time of year, so does Roy. Many forums were talking about the roe rut starting, and after a recce here in Hampshire last week, he reckons we should be in time for the first flush.
We were down a couple of days ago just having a look around, and there was the first signs of rutting activity. We saw a buck scouting about, and he was chasing out a younger buck and moving everything about, so he was really questing So there's definitely activity going on. Just have our first squeak of the evening and see if we get any interest.
No luck here. Of course the crops are high with plenty of cover for any resting love-struck deer, but when it's on, it's really on. The wind is playing all sorts of games today, dropping to nothing then swirling. Roy makes the decision to come at it from a reverse direction, but it means we have the sun in our face, which brings with it its own issues.
The boy that I saw the other night that was really active in this area, that I really wanted to come into and call him in his territory, we unfortunately spooked him as we were coming in. And it just goes to show that you've always got to trust your first judgment, because I saw what I thought was a head of a roebuck in some long grass, but it was very difficult to see because the sun was directly in my eyes and he was in heavy shade. And looked at it, and then I carried on stalking, looked again and almost discounted it, thinking it must have been a hare or something. Anyway, we walked on another 20 yards or so, and unfortunately it wasn't a hare, it was him. He made us. We were still a long way off, but he came trotting up into here. And I was hoping, after giving him 20 minutes or so, we might just be able to muster him a little bit, but he doesn't want to play at the moment.
It's a lovely evening, but in what is normally a deer-rich bit of ground, nothing is showing any interest. Roy has called half a dozen times now, and it's only when we're entering the last 40 minutes of light that deer start appearing. This doe with 2 kids.
We're half an hour from dark, and everything is just coming to life. There were 4 deer just appeared from nowhere in this field that we'd scanned for the last hour. So there's definitely stuff moving. We're going to head up there quickly, get round up to the other side and scan the crops there and see if we can find something before it gets dark. But I don't think that the rut for the majority of the deer here is in full swing at the moment. Another few days and hopefully it'll really turn on.
If the call isn't going to bring the deer to us tonight, we have to go to them. From a sedate start and middle to a fast end, Roy turns a corner and spots a buck on the edge of the crop, and he shoots. It leaps forward and we have a race against the light to find it.
We've got the impact of the shot here, and obviously he knew what was going on. He'd already spooked a little bit. We're going to have to go a little bit quicker than I would have liked. We know he's well hit, so hopefully he's not gone too far.
This is where Roy turns into Hercule Poirot. He occupies the little grey cells and follows the clues to the deer.
He's run into the crops here, and we're just trying to find the blood again. Yeah, well done. Yeah, here we go. Good paint here. Okay, so we've got more paint here. More paint here, and you can see here just the crop starting to get flattened out, so he was starting to fall down here, struggling through, and here we go. He's just gone crashing in, just in here. So, absolutely perfect little cow beast.
If you take it slow, you can save a lot of time and avoid the risk of missing it completely.
We had a very good blood trail all the way through the hedge, and we've just picked him up here, so we'll get him sorted. Another one for the larder, and as I say, very nice little cold beast. He was quartering on quite heavily when I took the shot, so it's gone in there, and the exit is just at the front there, so that would have taken absolutely everything out.
There might have been a hint of rut activity tonight, but the call certainly didn't bring the deer to us. Nevertheless, it gave us a good idea where the territories are for the next trip. The Grannock is done under headlights, keeping one eye out for the ticks.
So again, just always watch out, make sure you're always checking, because there's definitely a few ticks about.
The postman delivering there, despite the hormones not quite fanning the flames yet. Now we do like a bit of pomp and ceremony, so let's go to Bisley for the Queen's Prize. They are an awfully long way away, those targets. 1,000 yards, and the 100 finest full-bore shooters in the country are shooting them today for the Queen's Prize, the grandest award in British target rifle shooting. It's a summer event that ranks alongside the Wimbledon tennis, the Henley Regatta and the various golf championships. So, what do you have to do to win?
They'll be shooting 2 sighting shots and 15 to count at 900, followed by 1,000 yards. So the total at each range is 75. So 150 is the maximum that can be scored here. They then add that to their second stage, which they shot yesterday afternoon, to get a total score out of 300. And the winner of the highest score is the winner of the Queen's Prize.
The shooters take their positions for the first leg, a piffling 900 yards. The butt markers drive out to the butts. The spectators queue for ice cream.
Well, we're down to the last 100 of our finest marksmen who will be competing in the Queen's Prize final, and probably 2,000 or 3,000 visitors. So the camp's just starting to warm up now, with people starting to flood onto the ranges to witness what is a terrific spectacle. I mean, the results are printed in the broadsheets, the Times and the Telegraph. It's a bit dry, if truth be told, and doesn't really capture the magic of the competition, which is very evident today.
It is all part of the Imperial Meeting, a 4-week-long festival of shooting at Bisley which has people camping and living on site. It's Glastonbury, but with rifles instead of music. It culminates in the Queen's Prize.
There isn't a person who started this week, the 1,100 people who were shooting at the beginning of this competition, who didn't dream of sitting in that chair and getting chaired off the range by the other 1,099, if you see what I mean. So this is the big deal for us.
In the blustery conditions today, nobody is prepared to predict who is going to win.
Often, if it's benign weather up here, then those who squeak in by the skin of their teeth from yesterday don't get a look in. But I think anybody could win it here.
Unlike Henley, Wimbledon and the golf, the Imperial Meeting at Bisley is not televised. Well, except by us.
But for the television audience, probably the best thing that we would ever do is to have shoot-offs where people shoot side by side and you see the targets come up together, and then you can see how well each are doing. A little bit in a way similar to the way the archery folks do it in the Olympics. That for us would be a change of a competition that is started in 1860, and so it depends a little bit on how urgent we feel that need to attract the TV audience. I personally am quite impressed with the ball tracker at golf, and I think it would be very interesting to devise something not dissimilar for rifle shooting at long range, because people would then begin to understand that actually the bullet arcs about 15 or 16 feet above the straight line between the end of the target and the end of the barrel. And then, of course, as there's wind, it sort of starts pointing towards 3 targets away, and then it swings around in a nice curve and hopefully hits the bullseye. So there's those type of things that we could think about.
At the halfway point, as the shooters move to the 1,000-yard position, some people are keen to make themselves comfortable.
It's a little bit old, actually. I think it's an antique. We found it in our clubhouse and we decided to bring it down so we could plot for our friend.
Another spectator has a special reason to be here today.
I have my father's Queen's Prize gold medal and badge, which he won here 60 years ago today. He didn't only shoot here, he was a member of English 2020 and also City Rifle Club. I was actually 2 months old when he won the Queen's Prize.
So what was Bisley like 60 years ago?
Nowhere near so much technology. Those days, to support your rifle, you just stuck your arm through the sling and that was it. None of these special jackets and special eye patches and all this sort of thing. It really was skill, luck and judgment.
A great deal goes into making this day work, and one of the big aspects of the day is safety.
In a lot of respects, actually, having 1,100 people on camp, all with rifles, particularly 300 or so youngsters, actually, is in theory a security nightmare. The reality is it's anything but that. It's one of the safest places to come because everybody is carefully disciplined, very carefully organised, they've been carefully trained, and there's a great deal of infrastructure that actually makes shooting the safe sport that it really is.
Towards the end of the competition, Britain, the crowd gets a clearer idea about who is going to win. Many of the spectators here have been competing in the week, and they are well informed, especially about David Calvert, currently top of the leaderboard.
He has won before, don't know when. But this morning he won the St George's prize on a tie shoot, as well as the Conan Doyle on a tie shoot. They did a tie shoot this morning for that, so he won it on that as well. So it'd be a pretty good day if he won this as well. And he's currently a few points ahead. And three shots to go, I think.
At last comes the news everyone has been waiting for.
Got it. Calvert's got it. We need a V-ball count on it.
We need a 4. We need a 4.
Keep. 29. I need a V count on these guys. There might be points errors.
294, 29 for Calvert. Okay, Calvert can't lose. Really simple. One of ours, Royal Air Force. So we're going to have sore shoulders tonight.
The crowd is delighted. Wing Commander David Calvert is one of a handful of shooters to win the Queen's Prize twice, winning the first time in 2010, and he is typically modest about his achievement.
I just had more luck than everybody else on the day.
There is a big cheer for all the butt markers who've been spending this hot afternoon in a trench 1,000 yards away, marking the targets as they are shot. And then comes the bit that everyone has been waiting for, the cheering off of the winner, accompanied by the band. After his incredible achievement, David Calvert has a long evening ahead of him, taken on his chair from clubhouse to clubhouse around Bisley. While he does that, let's take our departure from the home of British shooting. You can visit nra.org.uk to find out more. Well, that was a lovely day out for a spectator like me as well as for the shooters. Next up, let's go from the narrow world of British tradition to the wider world of hunting and shooting on YouTube. It is Hunting YouTube. This is Hunting YouTube, which aims to show the best hunting and shooting videos that YouTube has to offer. Halali magazine gives us slow, dreamy hunting tales on YouTube, and this is no exception. Editor Ilka Dawn is out after roebuck and goes for what she calls val forsal, sort of quality over quantity. Another beautifully filmed half-hour hunt is this film about ibex and the mountains of northern Italy. Not too much Italian language and lots of beautiful scenery. QEU's Brendan Burns travels to Patagonia to hunt red stags with Argentina outfitters. These deer are reputed to have escaped from Buenos Aires Zoo and made the 1,000-mile journey to the Andes without being detected. Good move, they are thriving. Here's a shorty but a goodie. If you want to see how fast a dog can be at dispatching a rabbit, Andrew Reynolds, who made it, calls it a brilliant catch whilst mooching. Ryan Darby says, "Feature me please," so here he is. He is pigeon shooting in Norfolk over vine peas with George and Grandad. Total bag 57. This film, Grand Bateau au Sanglier, does what it says on the tin. It is a selection of wild boar-driven hunting scenes. This one is for turkey hunting nuts. Greg Seek's camping weekend includes a public land longbeard at Iowa's Lake Red Rock and a boat full of slab crappies to boot. And finally, Canada-based Wild TV continues its strange idea of uploading videos lasting exactly 1 minute 31 seconds. They're like hunting haikus and say lots about Trad TV's reaction to the YouTube phenomenon. This is Goose Shooting in Ontario. That's it for this week. If you have a YouTube film you would like us to pop into the weekly top 8, send it in via YouTube or email me the link, charlie@fieldsportschannel.tv. Well, if you don't like those, maybe you'll like this. It's Airheads. In this programme, Kai's out with his Air Arms TDR, hoping to tackle the rat problem under the henhouse and keep the rabbits off his friend's veggie box crop. Roy is FX'd up with the Royale and is after some bunnies for the pot and for the ferrets. We have air streaming, we have hot air, and we have the news that Nicholas Sturgeon strikes again. Scotland will no longer be an airgun hunter's paradise. Well, we are back next week with Fieldsports Britain. If you haven't done so already, please click to subscribe. Go to our webpage, fieldsportschannel.tv, where you can click to like us or follow us on Facebook or on Twitter, or pop your email address into our constant contact box. We'll constantly contact you about our show, Fieldsports Britain. It's at 7 p.m. UK time every Wednesday. This has been Fieldsports Britain. Good hunting, good shooting, good fishing, and goodbye.